Hello and welcome to another episode of this podcast. It's been a while, but we're back. There's a lot of things to talk about in boxing right now. Teofimo López last week, Canelo Álvarez. Let's just get into it. What do you want to talk about first? Teofimo López?
Yeah, let's go. Let's start there. What did you think of his performance?
Well, I thought it was a one-sided fight. I saw the one-sided fight. The judges didn't. 15-13, 15-13. I don't know what they saw. 117, 111. I thought that was more reasonable. For me, I thought Teofimo López just put on a show. I thought it was a great fight, and he looked way different. I'm not gonna lie, he fooled me. I thought he wasn't there mentally. He came in there and just showed he's one of the best at 140.
I'm glad you bring up that mental part because what do you think was the point? I don't understand. So he had a great performance. He made he did fool a lot of people in thinking that he wasn't going to be there for this fight, and that was as good a performance as I've seen from Teofimo. But is it all for nothing? He relinquished the belts. He went on this massive, questionable streak of he just wasn't himself, and no one.
The interviews of him saying that he wanted to die and that he wanted to kill Josh Taylor, that was.
We know what the sport can do. Boxers know better than to say stuff like that. For promotion, and arguably he looks his best he's ever looked, and then he just gives it all up. Why would you think that's the case? That's
something I want to touch about. When he said that he was retired or he wanted to retire, I thought he was playing around, or how the things he says. But when I saw that he vacated his belt, that's when I was like, what's true? You're retiring. But that's crazy to me. You're really young. One, he's really young. He's only lost once against Cambozos. People see him as a two-time undisputed. I don't. I see him as a lineal. Whenever he beat Lomachenko,
right.
I see him as lineal. This one, who wants to say that he's undisputed because he beat Josh Taylor, who was undisputed, even though he doesn't have the belts anymore? I can still see him, as undisputed. So people still see him as he won undisputed. I don't know. He's too young to be retiring, but I do understand on his personal side the things with his kids. He's going to court and all this. I do understand that. I don't know. It might look better in court. That he's retired now. He can spend more time with his son. I don't know. I think he comes back. I don't think he's fully retired. I think I'm going to treat this the same way I treat Tyson Fury's retirements. And I think he comes back. Maybe he's going to wait till his contract is over. And I do see him maybe going with Eddie Hearn. I don't think he would want to stay. Obviously, he doesn't want to stay at Top Rank. I don't see him at PBC. I do see him at Eddie Hearn. I think Eddie Hearn right now is the best promoter out there in boxing, and I think he's gonna go with them.
And so, obviously, we can't really talk about the future for Teofimo because we don't even know if he'll ever be back. But would a match with Pro Grace be something you'd like to see in the future?
For sure. I think, like I said, if he ever does, I don't know if he can buy his contract like Floyd Mayweather did once, but if he actually gets out of his contract from Top Rank and goes to Matchroom, I think a fight with Regis would be crazy. Him or Matias at PBC. I don't know. There's a lot of fights he can have, but like I said, retiring so young, whenever you have the whole future in front of you, is just, I don't know.
There's got to be a reason outside of boxing for it.
Yeah.
Like you said, this personal life that could play a huge factor. But still, it is shocking after his best performance, arguably. His performance against Lomachenko. This one just felt complete.
Yeah, because the one Lomachenko,
he was levels above Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor, like you said, was undisputed. And maybe he didn't come off his best fight against Catterall, but
what he did with Ramirez. You know what I mean? What Josh Taylor did to Ramirez.
Oh, yeah.
Was crazy. I thought Ramirez was going to do a way better fight. And so I didn't think Teofimo was going to do the fight that he did. And he came out there and just literally shut my mouth.
He was having fun out there, too, man. This wasn't really that competitive.
And he's a show, man. Whenever he puts his leg up and he starts, dancing in there and starts doing that Yoel Romero thing when it goes like that, that's crazy.
Like you said, 115, 113 is crazy. I don't...
Yeah. Going back to the judges, 115, 113. I don't know what they saw. That's the same score they gave Haney versus Lomachenko, 115, 113. That was a really close fight. I don't know what they saw. Reminds me of Bivol versus Canelo. Whenever we see the scorecards and the scorecards look really close, and I'm like, what fight did they see? I mean, I don't know. Maybe the fans have a lot to do with it. Screaming and saying things. Maybe the judges get.
But you don't think that was a pro Lopez crowd?
Yeah.
In New York?
For sure.
You would think they would influence that more towards him.
Like I said, I don't know what the judges saw. I don't know if I don't know.
I wonder if they knew he would retire after this fight and they didn't want him to have the belts, just in case.
It's because, I don't know. There's a lot of different things we can see, all theories, I don't know. But speaking about that same 140 division, who do you think can become undisputed once again? Josh Taylor was undisputed, but, once again.
I mean, it might be ways from now, but Subriel Matias...
I think he's underrated.
I think he could be very dangerous in the coming years. I haven't really heard much about him recently. Arnold Barboza.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you his last fight. It was in the...
It was the same guy that's going to fight Regis Prograis this Saturday. The time of this recording, Regis Prograis still hasn't fought. And that's the same guy that Barboza fought. Before his last fight, sorry, because he did fight Pedraza, his last fight.
Right.
Barboza fought Pedraza. Talk about Barboza. I think he's a good fighter. I just feel like that fight with Regis probably could have happened, and they don't want it. I think Ramirez as well, but
man, rightfully so though. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. That would be his biggest step up. I know Barboza fought Pedraza, who I mean is as competitive of a fighter at that age that you can get, but I mean Prograis is still in his prime. He's still, what he did to Cepeda was I did not expect it, honestly. That's where I was kind of put onto Prograis, which might be a little late for the diehards, but I don't know if Barboza's had a test that big yet, but it might be time, man. It might be time. It's been. I mean, I found out about Barboza when he faced Alex Salcedo.
Yeah.
And
our Oklahoma man.
Who's local here. Yeah,
shout out
Alex Salcedo.
Shout out to him.
I mean, that's the fight that ended his career.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you can't just take that away from him. And
talking about that 140 division too. Adrian Broner, he came back last week.
No, man. This conversation stops right here, bro.
He called everybody out except for Regis. And then Regis was on Twitter saying, why didn't he call me out? My boy, I'll tell you why he didn't call you out. Because he gonna kill him. You gonna be locked up if you fight him. There's no way. Adrian Broner. There's no way Don King, I don't know how old he is, 91 years old, let Adrian Broner fight Regis Prograis. Like, that would be... No. The image I have in my head is
even trying to fight Rolly Romero is
no.
Like, no, man. Just
Rolly and Adrian Broner for the press conference, I would see that. The press conference would be funny as hell. But the actual fight would be whack. Nah.
Bro, Adrian Broner, he needs to stick to fighting on BET.
On Don King promotion?
Bro, yeah, like, come on, man. We don't need this.
He for real fought an attorney. Adrian Broner fought an attorney. Like, his last opponent was an attorney. I know people say it, like, playing around. But no, he was for real an attorney. Bro had a court in the morning, had a fight in the afternoon. Like, there's no way.
Crazy.
Like, there's no way.
It's all good. I mean, get your bag, bro. It's fine, but...
Nah, at the age that Broner is and everything, he has nothing to do with that.
If he's on another pay-per-view, look, let me correct that. If he's headlining another pay-per-view at any point ever, we're getting scammed. Just, I'm not doing it. It's time for new people. Adrian Broner's, I mean, I can respect that he's trying to have his comeback, but, I mean, keep it over there.
Yeah.
Bro, I want to see bro on Misfits. Come on.
Nah. Him and Tyron Willie.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. See, that's the fight that I could get behind. Give him, I don't know, one of those other pro boxers on the influencer scene. But stay away from the contenders.
Nah, Adrian Broner
looked your time.
Yeah, he did not look the Adrian Broner that we know. he looked bad, even though he won, and just the commentary was trash for Don King. I actually watched the fight. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry, but the commentary was trash since it started. They were like, "End the fight, end the fight. He's bad." The opponent for Adrian Broner, like. Just let him fight. It's a fight. You're there to commentate about the fight. Sorry, but the whole fight, they were just, getting on Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner's, he looks his best right now. He's about to knock this guy out. The fight needs to be over. Bro, they're on round 2. And you know what I mean? They went all rounds. Like, I don't know. The commentary was really bad. But that's,
I mean, that's what you get with productions of this caliber, though.
Yeah.
And it'd be messed up to not include that, like, top ranked PBC. They all have their own biased commentary too.
Yeah, but not like this.
No.
Not like this. Yeah, I know Top Rank and have...
Those are more reputable promotions, though. They have to have less bias in a way, These smaller companies can do things like that and it won't be a problem.
But even if they were biased, for Adrian Broner, they didn't even let you watch the fight good. You know what I mean? Because the whole time they were like, end the fight already. What is the ref watching? End the fight. I'm like...
And you're saying watching these
dudes,
dudes,
the dude's still trying to throw back and everything. Like, I mean, no.
This podcast is sponsored by...
No one. We do not have a sponsor. Please sponsor us. We're hungry. And, we ain't skinny. So, please sponsor us. Like I said, we're hungry. And we'll do it. That's it. I mean, I got nothing much. But
that's all we got to say.
Yeah. We'll do it. We're not Nike, though. So, don't sue us. Talking about that same weight class, I want to go into Jorge Linares. He's been calling out Rolly. He's been calling out Ryan. He's 37 years old, has lost his last 2 fights. First, I'll tell you what I think about that. I think him versus Rolly, I still got Jorge Linares. I do think he can beat Rolly because of his last performance you saw of Rolly. Many people, I've always said this, Gervonta Davis makes careers, and he made Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero versus Barroso. Everybody thought Rolly was just gonna run through Barroso. It didn't happen. Barroso was beating Rolly up. He was winning. He was winning, and he was winning. Easily. He dropped Rolly Romero, and it was like it was all Barroso.
He didn't even slip, and they called the fight. He was on his feet, and I mean, wasn't even touched. He was shoved.
Yeah, and the guy was 40 years old, and he was.
I still say they're
whooping
running
him.
back, man.
Yeah.
I don't care.
They should run it back, but obviously they're not going to. He's going to take that W and run away with the belt. Jorge Linares, like I said, he's calling out Rolly Romero, and I do see Jorge Linares beating him, even though he's lost his last 2 fights, even though he's 37 years old. Rolly has nothing, I think, to offer Jorge Linares. When it comes to Ryan Garcia, I think that's a different story. I think that's a little bit more competitive. And I think at the end of the round, we've seen it with Derevchenko last week. He was also 37 years old. Your legs start kind of, fading. And so it's harder for you to fight a whole 12-round fight at that age. So it is going to be hard for him against Ryan Garcia. I'm not saying that he can't win, but I'm saying it's going to be very hard for Ryan Garcia. I think if he wants to come back, I think Rolly is the man to do it, and I think he can beat Rolly and even possibly hurt him, knock him out. Ryan Garcia, no, but I think it would be a competitive fight. I don't think it would be a one-sided fight, but I do think it would be competitive.
Okay. I think Linares is calling out Ryan just because there's money in that fight.
Yeah,
for him. I mean,
I
don't think for Ryan that much. I mean, it's a good opponent. It's an experienced opponent, one that'll give him fits. But I don't think that's a difficult fight for Ryan. I think he wins that.
Yeah, me too.
But hearing what you're saying about Rolly, I want to know what you think his ceiling is, because it doesn't sound like it's very high.
No, I don't think Rolly has that much. I think if they choose his opponents carefully, I think he can probably maybe win one more belt. But I don't think so.
140?
Yeah, at 140. I don't know. Seeing those people at 140, seeing Matias would crush Rolly Romero. I think he would knock him out in less than 6 rounds.
What about like Montana Love? Somebody of that caliber. How do you think they do against Rolly?
I don't know. Montana didn't look so well in his last fight. Now he's going to fight an undefeated fighter, I believe. It's going to be a great fight, so I really can't, say my opinion on that. But like I said, I do think Rolly Romero isn't the fighter people think he is, and that Barroso fight showed it. I think I've always said this: Gervonta Davis makes careers, makes fights, and I think Rolly Romero is one of them. Just because Rolly Romero went, how many rounds was it? Was it 6, 7 rounds? And and it looked a little. He looked like a little better, you could say, than Ryan Garcia. I think that's why people think Rolly is the man who he is. But like I said, I don't see a lot of future in him. When it comes to Rolly versus Ryan, I think Ryan knocks out Rolly Romero. Like I said, I don't see anything in Rolly. That's why I said Jorge Linares can be Rolly, and if he comes back, I do think that would be a comparative fight, and I do think he can be Rolly. When it comes to Ryan Garcia, I just don't see. I think at the end of the rounds, your legs kind of go out. I don't know how well Linares is. You know what I mean? I haven't really seen him. I don't know how well prepared he is. But like I said, even if you're really, really well prepared, your age starts catching up to you. And I think against Ryan, it would be difficult. But I still think it would be a competitive fight. But have we seen in his last fight with Jorge Linares, he was doing a great fight until those last rounds. Like I said, your legs kind of go out. And I think that's the problem with fighters who are, a little bit older and trying to fight younger people. You know what I mean?
Linares... He had a close scorecard loss to Haney. I mean, it was 2 years ago, and he's only fought twice since then. He's always had a lot under his legs. He always packs a punch or packs some power with his punch.
He shook up.
He's a slick boxer. So I would like for him to get one more big fight before his career ends. I think he's worthy of that.
Yeah. Who do you throw at him, Rolly or Ryan?
I don't know, man.
I would throw Rolly.
Either of the two, I would throw Rolly.
I would throw Rolly.
And then kind of call it a make it or break fight. I know I don't like to talk too much about like losses in boxing because I don't think the loss in boxing will ruin a career. But at the level that he's at, the way he talks and like the level he wants to be, he talks about being the face of 140 and
Rolly?
Yeah. And so like obviously he lost a tough match against Tank. That was pretty expected. I don't think anybody was in there betting the house on Rolly.
First round knockout.
Yeah, but like that's the game you're talking. You should be able to beat an aging Jorge Linares.
Yeah.
And so that fight would, that would kind of tell people, hey, this guy's legit, or hey, this guy's a fraud. Let's move him back down to, get him out of the contention for the.
Because if Rolly is a fighter he says he is, if he fights Jorge Linares, it's supposed to be like a clean out, one-sided fight or knockout Jorge Linares. Which I don't think it'll happen. But like I'm saying, if he is the fighter he says he is, that's how the fight would go. It would be all one-sided Rolly Romero, all maybe a knockout. But I just don't see that. Rolly Romero isn't the fighter people think he is. And I think people now, they see that since his fight against Barroso. Mm-hmm. I think maybe after Gervonta, they were like, oh, he's going to whoop Barroso. That fight happened with Barroso, and what happened? They had to give that man the fight. I mean, that's just how it is.
I think part of it is just the way his personality is. And I mean, the way he talks, it'll make you believe that.
Yeah.
And so you kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt if you're just a fan. But if you're like watching the boxing, you're watching the fights, and you're criticizing him based on what you see in the ring, not just what he says, how he promotes, like how many views he buys. Those are two different things, completely different things. And there's a long way to go until the action in the ring matches the words that come out of his mouth. And I'll say this as a fan of his promoting. I like the way he builds his fights. I like the way this last fight against Barroso was. Who cares?
Yeah,
it was him against some old man.
But he was headlining.
He was in there. Trying to make a fight out of it, or trying to build a fight out of this fight. It should. No fan wouldn't buy this. This is not what we save our money for. But he had me intrigued. He made me believe that Barroso was a worthy opponent. I told you this. Whenever I told you that Rolly was saying that this guy packs a punch, that he hits hard, and that any guy that hits hard is automatically a tough opponent.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I didn't really believe it when it came out of his mouth, but I saw it in the ring.
Well, but I didn't think Rolly was coming like that.
Right. Like I didn't think that we would ever get to see how hard he hit. And the few times he did, I mean, shoot,
he dropped him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think there's a lot of options, a lot of things to do at 140, and Jorge Linares trying to come back for one more fight. Like I said, a big money fight would be great for him. I loved his career when he dropped Lomachenko, when he made Devin Haney shaking his boots.
Yeah.
You know, Jorge Linares has had a great career. Like I said, coming back, for me, Rolly Romero would be the ideal opponent because I think he would win. I think he would retire as a champ, and that's it. Unless, you know, he beats Rolly and then he's like, give me Ryan. but no, I think him coming back, like I said, and fighting Rolly would be the fight he needs to do, and I think it would be a one side. Like I said, I think Linares knocks him out.
Let's see it.
Yep.
All right. Next thing I want to talk about is we finally got our first press conference for Spence and Crawford. Okay. It's real. It's happening. It's a real thing.
It is.
They were right across the stage from each other, trying to talk shit. It wasn't really.
Nah, it was
I wouldn't call it shit talk.
You could tell that they have like a.
No, I mean, he said, who was it? Crawford said that Spence would learn how to respect him.
Yeah.
And Spence was yelling at him. No, I'm respecting you right now.
Yeah,
like, you can tell that these guys know what the deal is about this fight. You know, they both called it an old school fight. I'm so excited. This might be the fight of the year.
Yeah.
And
we might see it twice before the year ends.
We might see it 3 times, man, at the end of it all. I mean,
everybody was there at that press conference. Teofimo Lopez, he retired. Now he's a
buddy. You got to get down.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a great fight. I love the press conference.
I think my favorite part was that talking about fishing. Yeah, how you said like, "Oh, I'm a big fish. Like you're gonna need more than a fishing rod to catch Moby Dick."
Oh yeah, that was
about making
that was
fish
funny.
fillet and
that was.
Hey man, that's
how you sell a fight.
So I didn't really think about this much, but obviously Errol Spence is from Dallas, and then Terrence Crawford's from Nebraska. So we're almost right in the middle there. So it's kind of like this is like our Midwestern Super Bowl in boxing. You know, these are the best that we got around this area, and
it's a great fight.
I've told you this before. As each day passes, I think my prediction changes.
No, same.
And so I don't really feel like giving an official prediction right now. But
what'd you think about seeing them side to side? Errol Spence looks big. Like he looks big.
He does big. He does look really big, or not really big, but bigger than I expected.
Yeah, he looks physically big. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the closer the fight gets, the more I'm leaning towards Terrence Crawford.
I said like I said, my prediction's gonna change several times, but like I said, I think he hits a little bit harder. And
bro survived a bullet to the head, man. I don't
know, man. But Errol Spence
flew his car out. Both of these dudes should be dead, and here they are about to make.
And then he broke his retinal, his eye or something like that. Like, yeah, I don't know.
We're both getting. I mean, you can't say the same for Crawford because that happened so long ago. But we're both getting shattered versions of both of them, in a way. But I think that's not even gonna be that much of a factor in this fight. I think we're gonna get.
I think that
we're gonna get him at 100% in the ring.
Yeah, I think so too. Errol Spence is a dog. Everything he came from, you know, the crash and then his eye, and then, you know, he had no tune-ups. He went straight to Danny Garcia, Mikey, and then he beat Mikey. He just Ugas. He wanted Pacquiao. He got hurt. He couldn't get that fight, but he wanted Pacquiao. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one after another, and he's ready for anybody. Like I said, that Ugas fight was a great fight, and he kind of, you know, shook up Errol Spence. I wonder what would happen if Crawford did that, shook him up. I think Ugas was a little bit tired. Didn't want to throw more. I think Crawford would try to go for the kill. Yeah, he would try to go for the kill. But I don't know. Like I said, it's a great fight. Love it for the fans, love it for the whole industry in boxing, and it's, you know.
You also can't take away the Olympic experience that Spence has. I mean, he's been trained at a very extreme level since he was young, and obviously Crawford's story is a lot different. You know, he came out of the streets and fought his way to the top, but for Spence, I mean, that Olympic experience is crucial. It's what set him up to be the pro that he is, And anybody from back then will tell you the same thing. That's like all the interviews said that he was the most ready to be pro. And I mean, it took him a while to get going in the professional ranks, but he shot out of a rocket, like you said. Those last 5-6 fights he's had, I mean,
that shows you right
each
there.
one has
if you go resume, but if you go with resume, Errol Spence has had a better resume than
sure,
Crawford.
Man. Crawford's resume is
I have an EC on him
in
his backyard, and his gloves blew out. I don't.
Oh, is that the picture you sent me? Yeah,
his gloves blew out. I don't know.
You have to put that up on the screen somewhere, because that's, man,
something. Yeah,
the quality of those gloves were.
A lot of boxing fans were kind of. They're not gonna let that go. You know what I mean? Because if Crawford would have came out and said, "Oh yeah, something happened to my gloves," blah blah blah, then yeah, but they're not gonna let that go. But overall, I think that fight's gonna be a great fight, great for the fans. And Errol Spence vs. Crawford pay-per-view price is now official, $84.99. The same price that we saw Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, same price we saw for Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. So it was common. I don't think we're ever gonna see a Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao $100, but I think $84.99 is is reasonable for a fight like this. It's undisputed. The undercard seems
right.
The undercard's gonna be good. Pitbull Cruz, Giovanni Cabrera. I think $84.99 isn't bad, and I think if you're a true boxing fan, I think we should buy this fight. Don't stream it, because that's how we're gonna get these fights.
I agree, man. This is what you take off of work for. This is when you get the barbecue going. Like, this is the fight that it's a holiday almost. And so
you need a watch party for this.
Do it right, man. Spend some money, get the friends over. Bring out the coolers, bring out the grills, and let's get it on.
Now, changing.
I want to talk about your favorite boxer. That's all I'm gonna say, and I'll let you get going on this. I know you got something to say.
Okay. Who is it?
Just start talking. You already know. Who we're talking about.
Canelo Álvarez has now officially ducked David Benavidez.
Womp, womp, womp.
He's a duck, bro. Okay, I'm gonna go off on this, and I'm a rap for 5 minutes. Canelo Álvarez was offered David Benavidez at $50 million. People saying that it wasn't true. Steven Espinosa came out saying it was true. They backed up Samson Lukowicz. Okay, the offer was there. With Bivol, let's throw him out the window. I understand that Canelo wanted that fight at 175. That fight wasn't gonna happen. He offered Bivol the same contract. Bivol was like, get out of here. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna fight you for $5 million when I already beat you for $5 million. So he wanted to fight at 168. They can't because of the commission. Like I said, let's just throw that fight out of there. Okay. But Benavidez is there. That's the fight that was supposed to be next. David Benavidez versus Canelo Álvarez. What happened? I don't know. If you ask a Canelo fan, they're going to tell you, who has David Benavidez fought? And I'm going to reply, who did John Ryder fight and win before he fought Canelo Álvarez? No one. He fought Sanders.
He fought all the guys that Canelo already beat.
But he lost. He lost to every single one of them. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you, who did Yildirim fight before he fought Canelo Álvarez? No one. Okay, now, they're going to say, oh yeah, but they were mandatory. Well, David Benavidez is also mandatory, and he's been there for a long time now. He's mandatory. That fight should be next. I wouldn't blame Canelo Álvarez. That's really risky. I know David Benavidez would beat him, and he would probably retire, on the bottom. Imagine a young fighter beating the top caliber fighter, which is Canelo Álvarez. I would retire from that. But like I said, there's no more, who has David Benavidez fought? Why should he get the fight? Because right now, that's the fight that should have happened, and it's not going to. And it's sad that, we're not going to see that next. People also saying that David Benavidez already had a fight with Moriel signed. Yes, but David Moriel said he would, step to the side so that fight with Canelo Álvarez would play out. I would be stupid to not step onto the side, because if David Benavidez beats Canelo Álvarez, I'm fighting David Benavidez for all the titles. David Moriel will be fighting David Benavidez for all the titles. So I would step out of that too. Y'all negotiate, get that fight going. Hopefully, David Benavidez beats Canelo, and I get to fight David Benavidez for all the titles. So, like I said, there was no excuses. Everything was playing out perfectly. So Canelo Álvarez could just grab a pin, sign that. But it didn't happen, and now he was between Jamal Charlo, who's gone 2 years without fighting. 2 years. If he fights Jamal Charlo, he would be coming up in weight at a weight that he's never fought before. Now, he also wanted Baldo Jack, the oldest fighter to win a title at cruiserweight, and it would also be at a catchweight. I mean, that doesn't sum up. You know what I mean? Like, no. I know it would be money. I know it would be.
They can't hear what I just did, but it's the money, man. The money in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, if I was a fighter, splash me with some Saudi Arabia money.
Like that's a free payday right there.
What I would respect with Canelo if he fought Baldo Jack at his weight. If he fought him at his weight and he actually but catch weight, I don't know. Like I said, I think Canelo versus Benavidez was the fight that should have happened next, but it's the fight that's not gonna happen, and I think probably. Like Sampson told me once when I interviewed him, it's never going to happen. Maybe if Canelo wants to, pass the torch, he'll do it as his retiring fight. But it would be bad because if he's a little bit older now, I think all the fans are going to say, well, Canelo was older, blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be excuses if David Benavidez beats Canelo. And I don't know. I don't know what you think about it. Sorry, I just had a rant. I don't know.
You get it all out of your system?
I'm out. That's it.
So I haven't really been following the negotiations as much as you have for obvious reasons. But I do know that Canelo is going to be in charge of any and all negotiations in any fight he has, no matter what. No matter what, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna get your way with him. And I know that Team Benavidez sent him a contract and gave him a week to agree, right?
I didn't see how long it was a time. I did see they sent him a contract. But
I think the original the post that you sent me where they sent the email or whatever.
Yeah.
I think he said we'll give you a week to figure it out or else we're moving on. And apparently everything that was on that contract was non-negotiable, which is never gonna be accepted, man. You just can't. It was.
I mean, but 50
and
mil.
To have, I do think that's. I mean,
that's a heavy.
I would fight for 50 mil. I don't care.
And his last fights. None of them he hasn't won 50 mil.
Nah.
Like guaranteed, because that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And
plus
I'm pretty
revenue,
sure.
Plus TV.
Yeah, plus pay-per-view, plus everything. And I'm pretty sure Benavidez wasn't even going to make close to 50 mil. But he would lose winning. You know what I mean? Right. He would rather take, I don't know, but he would rather take less than $1 million. But, you become undisputed. And after that, everything that comes.
You become the
face.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. Or that's how it should work. But the problem is you're not going to out-negotiate Canelo's team.
No.
You're not. And so by them pushing the issue, they pretty much guarantee themselves, to lose their spot. And for you said, the opponents, Jamal Charlo, if he doesn't fight him now, which it's going to happen, right? We're pretty much 80-90% guaranteed.
They were saying that, but then Jamal Charlo got on Instagram at the day of this recording. Yesterday, he got on Instagram Live and started, calling out Boo Boo, and even they were FaceTiming each other.
I think they were doing it just as a joke, honestly. I think they're at both, they're both in separate parts of their careers.
Yeah.
And so I think Boo Boo thinks he belongs on that stage.
He doesn't.
I don't want to see him against.
I'll put him in that Rolly Romero stage.
Yeah, someone like a high B, low C level fighter kind of, at least in terms.
He
of
got dropped in his last fight,
right? And so, like you said, if the only problem that I have with Canelo not fighting Benavidez now is that Benavidez is only going to get better.
Yeah,
and Canelo's only going to get older, and so like you said, there could be an excuse there. Canelo's old, whatever. But the same thing would happen if he fought Charlo a year or two from now too. True. Charlo's old. No, they're not gonna give him any. They're not gonna give the winner any credit because the loser is supposedly washed.
Yeah.
So it's all subjective to everything. I don't really like the Baldo Jack fight. I did at first, just because he's still going up in weight, still trying to win belts in different classes.
Fifth.
But we're very obviously
division.
Ignoring the elephant in the room here, which is David Benavidez.
Yeah.
But I understand why you're mad. I just feel like they shot themselves in the foot with their negotiation tactics. If they would have just heard what Canelo's team had to say instead of trying to rush it all and put it all they put the ball in his court, but he didn't care. The ball just sat there. They tried to jump the gun, and it didn't pay off. We're gonna get the fight next year.
You think so?
Yeah, we're gonna get the fight. We're not gonna. Canelo's not retiring without fighting David Benavidez. He can't.
No,
he can't.
The amount of people.
About legacy. This the whole legacy's gone right there. If he
Yeah.
doesn't fight this man, it doesn't matter if he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. If the timing, the money wasn't right. There's no excuse. You got to fight him at some point. And like I said earlier, the longer he waits, the worse his chances get.
Yeah. Also, go on the same topic, kind of. David Benavidez called out Munguia. David Benavidez's dad, Senior called out Munguia after his fight. Let's go into the Derevchenko fight. Let's change topics. I'm over with the Canelo Benavidez. Like I said, I already said what I thought.
How much you want to bet? How much y'all want to bet this subject comes back up before this podcast is over?
Like I said, I'm done with this. I'm done with this subject. I already said what I had to say. For me, I would always, my opinion is never gonna change. David Benavidez defeats Canelo Álvarez, and I do think Canelo Álvarez right now. I hate saying this, but I do think he's ducking David Benavidez. And I think Benavidez versus Moriel, they're saying October. I think that's going to be a great fight. But it sucks there's no titles. It sucks there's nothing. Yeah. There's that one title that Moriel has, but, let's be honest. That's not a title. So it sucks. That sucks. If Canelo would vacate his belts, or at least one, I'm all for it. But he's not going to do that. So
nope.
Let's change subjects. Munguia versus Derevchenko. Munguia is now 42-0, I believe.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
You know, Jaime was not a boxer that I saw a lot of upside in, and that's simply because he's 26 and he has 42 fights, and he has no traction in his career. No boxer with 42 fights should ever have the amount of hype that he has, which is none. It's none. This man has no. I don't understand how a boxer's record could be that well, and it's and it'd be for pretty much nothing. I'm not gonna. Something I am gonna say is I do criticize Munguia a lot. Munguia gives a show to the people. Like the fight versus Derevchenko was a good ass fight. Yeah, that was really, really good fight. The bad thing is Derevchenko's 37 years old. You know what I mean? Man was struggling with a 37-year-old. I know people probably gonna get mad at me saying, because Derevchenko's a good fighter. Yeah, he is, but if it wasn't for those last 2 rounds, or that last round, Munguia would have lost. Also, he wanted to only fight 10 rounds. They were trying to negotiate only 10 rounds, but Derevchenko said, I already signed for 12. Let's do 12. And those man.
And those rounds helped them.
Those were Munguia's.
Yeah.
And it's probably what won in the fight. And Derevchenko's no bum either. He's
I know.
Carlos Adames,
Triple G.
Daniel Jacob, Triple G. He's had great fights with all of these guys. And so this is Munguia's best test by far in his 42 fights, which is crazy to say. But it's time. We gotta give him a top 5.
Nah, but if you put him, I know Benavidez's dad FaceTimed Munguia, and Munguia said, let's do it.
I don't think that's scared. The fight he needs. Though.
I don't think that's the fight he would take.
No,
if Canelo don't want to take that, Munguia ain't taking that.
That'd be that's like Zurdo fighting
Bivol.
Bivol.
That's like throwing out there to the wolves. Yeah, you're feeding him. No, I think Munguia would get destroyed. Like, I'm being honest, Munguia would get destroyed against David Benavidez. Even Moriel, I still think if he fights Moriel, probably Moriel. It sucks at 160. I don't really think he did much.
What about a Liam Smith who just won his against was it Eubank?
Eubank, yeah. That rematch is supposed to happen.
It back.
Yeah. Then it got canceled. I don't know.
Somebody like Janibek maybe. That could be a thing.
But he's not going back down to 160. He wants to stay at 168.
168?
At 160, I don't really think he did much. He had that title, but for a year? 2?
I don't think he's ready for any of the top guys at 160.
But I think Adames would destroy Munguia. But now,
I agree.
But now he's up, going to 168. a weight that, you know, he's a big fighter. Munguia's, you know, he's physically big, so 168, you know, is a good weight for him. But it's a weight class it's hard. And
I mean, you could throw him against maybe a William Scroll, somebody who has a high ranking but doesn't really
have a big name.
You're right. Somebody that, you know, whose ranking he could take maybe or something.
Yeah, because if he beats William Scroll, he would be what, mandatory, I believe. No,
maybe Billy Joe Saunders in a comeback fight. If he's not
Berlanga.
fighting Berlanga.
Throw Berlanga up in there. Nah, I think Billy fights Berlanga. I don't know.
That was a really weird interaction between.
But then Berlanga's comeback is your eyes.
How's your eye, bro? That's so crazy. Like, where would he even think of coming at Berlanga like that? I mean, I guess they're both matchroom guys.
Yeah.
But that is not who I thought. That's not how I thought Billy Joe Saunders would try to come back. but
I mean,
hey, I'm all for it, man. Let's see it.
Going back to that Munguia fight, I thought it was a great fight for the fans. But it was a bad performance for Munguia. If you're being honest, Oscar De La Hoya, how he was saying it, he was saying Munguia was gonna go out there and literally wipe the floor with Derevchenko, and it didn't happen. I can bet you whatever you guys want. For a split sec, that man was sweating. Oscar De La Hoya was a little bit worried that his prized possession. I didn't say that. His prized possession was going to not make it against Derevchenko. Like I said, a 37-year-old. But you know, have I always said, when you're a little bit older, at the end of those rounds, your legs kind of, they kind of go. We saw that with King Kong, at heavyweight. Luis Ortiz, we saw that with him whenever he fought Andy Ruiz. I think against Charles Martin, we saw his legs were kind of going. You know, it's something common once you get older. And I think Munguia did the right thing at the end to pressure him. I think if he would have pressured more, he probably could have gotten Derevchenko out there in the last round, but I don't know. He wanted Derevchenko to, fight him in the middle, something that, Derevchenko's not going to do that, and mostly when he thinks he's winning the fight, But
man, I think up until like round 9, I was pretty convinced he was going to lose the fight.
No, round 5 was the best round I've seen. Probably this year. That round 5 was a hell of a round. It was, I don't know, it was crazy. They were going back and forth. It was just crazy.
I think most people knew Derevchenko was a brawler. I mean, he's a guy that's tough. He can take a punch and he could throw a punch. And I don't know if I knew that out of Munguia just yet, but it proved. I think this fight did prove that he can go a little bit. He has something in the tank. And like
it or not, I mean, I'm gonna say how it is. The man has balls. Munguia stood there and was like, let's do it. You want to brawl? Let's do it. So, like it or not, criticize Munguia. Like me, I criticize Munguia. But that man isn't scared to fight. Isn't scared to,
I mean, those last 2 rounds were what won him the fight. 2 of the scorecards were 114, 113, and that last round was 10-8 for Munguia.
Yeah.
Because of the knockdown.
That knockdown saved him.
So, I mean, we could be looking at a draw, if anything. So, I mean, credit to him for finding a way to get out of there. I didn't really expect him to, honestly. I thought this would be the fight where we saw him take that one loss, and obviously it wouldn't derail his career, but it would prevent him from taking that step up.
Yeah, I mean, what else
which he's needed to do. I mean, 10 fights ago, man. He's getting close to Mayweather's record.
Yeah,
and he has no belts,
compare the people Floyd fought and compare the people Munguia fight.
Exactly. That's my point exactly. We need to see him develop and take on those bigger names at this point in his career.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing much I can say about that. Other than I think Munguia needs a big fight again. Possibly maybe a Berlanga or a fight like that, like you were saying. Yeah. First, we got to see how Berlanga looks versus Quigley. And if he looks good, then throw him somebody like that. I know his goal is to fight Canelo. I just don't think.
Is Quigley the one that beat Shane Mosley Jr.?
No, yeah. Quigley's the one that lost in like a few rounds inside with Boo Boo.
Yeah.
It was like 2 rounds, I think. He lost quick. yeah, we just gotta see how Berlanga looks, and if Berlanga looks good, give him a so-so fight.
I mean, Berlanga obviously has way less fights than Munguia, but he's arguably taking the bigger step.
Yeah.
I mean, he's coming on,
I mean, compared to, like I said, Munguia versus Berlanga wouldn't be bad because of the level that both of them are. Munguia, you could say he's better than Berlanga, but his record, if you look through his record, it doesn't really back that up,
I don't know. Time will tell. I think both of these fighters will eventually meet in the ring, though. So
yeah, they would have to.
I think that'll really tell us who's gonna take that step up. Somebody that's 42-0 or somebody that's freaking 20-0. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but 42-0 versus cab drivers is not the same as.
Hey man,
I mean,
if he can
compare Munguia's record to Moriel's. How many fights does Moriel have? He has 8, 9?
Yeah.
But look what Moriel has done and what Munguia has done at 42-0.
But then you see somebody like Keyshawn Davis, who's also 8-0, 9-0.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's still opening top rank cards.
That's true.
Everyone starts differently,
and it's a difference too of where they come from. Moriel obviously is from Cuba. A lot of those Cuban fighters, they push them quick.
To the moon,
yeah, they push them quick.
Who's this other guy that they just signed? That Matchroom just signed?
Andy Cruz.
Andy Cruz, that's right.
That's Keyshawn's Pereira.
Yeah.
That's Keyshawn's Pereira, and he'll probably go in professional and
debut is gonna fight him probably.
He'll try to beat him, yeah, because I mean, like I said, that's Keyshawn's Alex Pereira, and I think Andy Cruz is gonna. I think he'll fight Keyshawn in the professionals.
Oh, yeah. They have to.
They have to.
Yeah. It'll be like Ryan and Devin. Was it those two that fought?
Yeah.
Amateur.
Right.
And they're gonna have to fight at some point too.
Yeah. Now that Devin, they're saying, I saw a video today. Maybe a rematch with Loma. Maybe he goes up to 140. I think he should just go up to 140.
I think he's going up too. I think making weight's becoming difficult.
Yeah.
So it's about that time too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. Great. I think great topics we hit today. And if you guys have any questions or want us to talk about anything, let us know in the comments. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, man. I think this is the best year that we could possibly have or we've had the best year that we could in terms of boxing events and news and fights, and hopefully the second half brings us just as much as the first half did, and I look forward to keep doing these and getting better at it, and hopefully engaging with more of you guys here soon in the future. Subscribe, like. We're trying to get to that Valdez versus Navarrete fight. Please, let us get there. Hopefully, with the help of you guys, we can be in Glendale, Arizona. Thank you.